I see you.
And I see you, you son of a bitch.
You know what you did.
I know what you did, but do you know what I didn't that you did?
What?
Exactly.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Geeky Pup Show today. For what? For Superman and Lois, Season 4, Episode 5. Break the cycle. The motorcycle. The bicycle. I'm Papa
I still know what you did last summer.
Don't kill me with a hook, please.
I won't use a hook. I'll use a rusty spoon.
Ugh. We're not doing The Walking Dead anymore, you frog. Anyway, yes, we're here to talk about. Anyway, we're here to talk about Season 4, Episode 5.
Yes.
We got a couple things going on. Most of this episode is dedicated towards Lex Luthor.
Yeah, actually, it's dedicated to breaking a cycle because there's a lot of people having problems in this issue
with cycles,
and also being close together. They're all 6 feet apart.
Oh, like this. Yes. This is how they are for most of the episode.
Hello, everybody!
I'm staring at you.
I'm staring at him.
This is fun. This is dramatic.
Okay, I'm done. Close up.
What? So yes, most of this episode is dedicated to Lex Luthor.
Yes.
So Lois goes ahead and makes the decision to go and plead with Lex's daughter because even though her father agreed to hide the location and all that.
But that was before though. The first, before we even get that, that's after. The first part is that Candace is showing up. She's coming to visit. You saw this in the trailer. She's coming to visit Jonathan, and Jonathan gets last minute called away by his mother. So he has to ditch, and he leaves Jordan there with his awesome freaking truck he's got there for Candace got on the bus. And they're making some excuse because he has to go. Because Jordan doesn't want to be a superhero anymore. So it's up to Jonathan to do his beck and calling of his mother. Which is getting annoying for, Jonathan's got to speak up and say, Mom, I can't keep doing this. I understand this, But anyway, so basically he goes, he visits, he picks his mom, and she's like, after Clark and Lois have a talk about, with Emily and stuff, and he goes Clark went to the fortress to see if he can basically figure out a way to stuff to talk to his mother about the monster and stuff. He puts a little headband on and he lives his fight, and then he has PTSD. He can't go forward anymore, so he thinks it's hopeless. His mother says, "No, we need to work through this." He leaves. Meanwhile, after he left, Lois had found an envelope going through her dad's things, found witness protection, basically, relocation papers envelope. And because that's why Jonathan had to leave, because his mom wanted to take her to Paris.
A little trip to Paris. Just
yes, to see Emily. And what's great about this episode, we get to see young Emily, and we get to see Lex, a much younger Lex, and his ex-wife, basically having a marital dispute. She pleads with him. Basically, it's after basically serving in papers, because they divorce. She says, "I've been trying to love you, but you won't tell me anything. So I've given up, pretty much, because you won't let me in."
Yeah.
And she talks about basically and then a flashback basically with his daughter, and his daughter catches them and basically having they're arguing because she wants to take Emily. Is it Emily? Yeah, Emily. Yeah, to London with her, and Lex says no. He gets angry, yells. Emily walks in, sees this, then runs her hide in the closet. He goes, talks to her, and basically comforts her and says, and yeah. So basically, the end result of these flashbacks is that Emily chooses to live with Lex, but Emily's mother, basically disgusted, leaves both of them and says, "Well, someday you're gonna learn that your father is a monster." And she leaves. So yeah, that's all the flashbacks between these. So we get to learn about Lex Luthor, and also Superman shows up at the end after Lex drops his daughter off at school, and Superman's there to escort him to prison. All right, so that was going on the flashbacks, but anyway, Lois and Clark's plan was basically to get Emily to sit down and talk to Lex, because they're afraid Lex is going to sick the monster on him, and Clark isn't strong enough. And so basically, Emily comes, to the Smallville. She agrees to sit down with her father, and basically, yeah, they have a conversation. He eventually breaks down and says, the reason, I was how I am because I was abused as a child. My dad had abused me and stuff. They'd always fight. Then he left us when I was 7 years old. Then my mom took his belt, the only thing they left of my father, and beat the crap out of me every day, sometimes multiple times. And he was messed up because of this. He says, like, you were the best part of my life. The one good thing I've ever done. But then eventually she gets disgusted because he will not. She finds out basically that he hasn't gone back to Metropolis, and it's because he's basically trying to ruin Lois and Clark's life, and he pretty much confirms. He says, "Who just told you this, Lois?" And so she walks out. Clark sees this. Clark has a heart-to-heart conversation with her, and basically
Elizabeth is
Elizabeth. Sorry. There's just too many E's today. Emily and the old man.
Today's episode of Superman and Lois is brought to you by the letter E.
Egads.
And the number 52.
No, new 52s. We like old ones.
Oh.
Anyway, so after Clark gives a speech and all, says, he may not be perfect, but it seems like he's trying to change ever since prison changed him.
Yeah.
So she sits down and she basically gives her dad an ultimatum. If you want to be part of your because she's pregnant and she's married, you want to be part of my life and your grandson's life, give up this hate. Break the cycle. She says, you wanted to break the cycle, so let's break the cycle. And he can't.
What does he say? Oh.
Yeah, because Lex says they have to pay.
There has to be a price.
Yes. Showing that Lex is a monster, and she says, Mom was right. You are a monster. You're selfish, you don't care about anything but yourself. And then she leaves.
Sad. And then he walks out of
and he sees Clark, because Clark was standing there like an idiot. Clark can see their exit walls.
Here, back up. And it's just like this. Hey.
You son of a bitch. And he gets a phone call, walks away. Because the reason why, Lois, being an idiot, took her dad's device, and remembering what Clark said, figuring that's how the monster showed up at the farm, because they used the EMS, whatever it's called, or whatever it's called.
Sorry, puppet yawns. The EMP.
EMP. Well, that sounds kind of weird. Electromagnetic pulse. Anyway, she goes and she goes to this bridge. And she's expecting the monster to show up because she said she can get through to him because the way he reacted to her, and the fact that he used to be Bizarro Clark.
Yes.
And by doing this, Jonathan and Jordan, who were at a party at the school, they're going to let fireworks stuff. And with Candace, Jonathan and basically makes an excuse and he has to leave, And Jordan says he'll cover for him. So Jonathan's like, okay, whatever, leave, because at this point, what's her name, Candace, who had been visiting, knew that Jonathan was lying to her, and she's sick of it. And so Jonathan leaves, showing up at the thing, and Lois freaks out. He's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Well, dumb bitch, you're the one that called his dad's thing. I thought you were in trouble."
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then the
Bizarro Superman shows up.
Then Doomsday shows up.
Doomsday.
And then she's like, and John's like, no, I'm gonna go here. She's like, boy, get back there before I backhand you with kryptonite. And she goes and she starts pleading with the monster, saying, "You know who I am. You several Lois. Just basically remember your life before this." And the monster sees flashbacks of his marriage with Lois, and then the bizarro Lois, and everything's life, and then he flies away. So at the end of this episode, after Clark basically sees sees Clark outside the diner, he gets a phone call. It's because the monster is missing. It's not at the little substation where subway, abandoned subway rail. And it says, and the lady basically says, her name's Yvonne something Chapman, I think her name is the actress from Kung Fu.
Oh yeah,
and she says basically, it's like, oh, it looks like somebody called it away, and Lex knows right away who called it because the device, the only one who has a device is the one he left there at the farm.
And it looks like Doomsday won't be a problem. And now Lex has a problem because he wants to destroy Superman.
Yes.
We do get a little conversation because Clark does try to plead with Lex. But Lex tells him to screw off, you're going to die.
Yeah. You made your bed, you're going to die in it.
Yep.
So there's that going on. But so when Jonathan goes back after the monster flies away, he goes back and Candace comes up, runs up and hugs him and kisses him. And she's like, your brother told me everything about your dad, you and Jordan. And we're led to believe that Jordan told the truth. I'm thinking he didn't. He made a lie, because we don't know. We don't know. We're led to believe that, but
I don't know. I think Jordan wants Jonathan to go through the pain.
Sure. But we don't know because you and Jonathan didn't know. He's like, well, what exactly did he tell you? Because he doesn't, So maybe he did. I was expecting that maybe that Jonathan was going to basically expose that he has powers. Her. Yeah, and Tom is on his own. That would have been better writing if he actually would have took her side and then just started flying.
I didn't like that Lois just kept using Jonathan.
And she's been doing that. She did that. She did that last episode. She did it again.
You're abusing the power.
Do you know what would have been great? How we saw how Clark revealed that he's Superman. He lifted himself off the cornfield in the sky. He floated up a little bit, take his glasses off. I wanted Jonathan to do that with Candace. That would have been great, mirroring his father. But no, we didn't get that. But anyway, maybe we still will. Who knows? When he shoots powers off. But
that's it for this episode. Overall, it's okay. I think this episode kind of dragged on a little bit.
This episode, 6 feet apart.
Break the cycle from 6 feet. 6 feet. Keep 6 feet.
Yeah, break the cycle.
Anyway, it's fine though. It's fine.
You're gonna cycle, and you're gonna cycle. They're gonna cycle, and they're gonna cycle.
A unicycle?
Well, I guess if we're sharing it, yeah, it's been for anybody. It's gender fluid.
How about a tricycle?
Well, that would require 3 people.
I make 1, you make 2. So we're a bicycle?
Bicycle.
Well, under the bridge, I'm considered a bike. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Beep, beep.
It helps out. We want to hear your thoughts on the show. If you're not watching the show, you're making a mistake. Listen, I know the CW has failed in quite a few ways, but Superman and Lois is not one of those shows that they have failed with.
Yes.
It's worth a watch.
And if you don't like this, you get the spoon.
It's rusty and covered in shit.
I call him Rusty.
And I call you Dusty. Now it's time to end. See you next time. Bye!
Spoon!
Don't touch me. Don't get that thing away.
Come here, buddy.
Oh, God!